worship, serve the structure.
The screens wake before we do. Their glow leaks into the square like thin soup, oily green against our breath. The man on the biggest panel points past the crowds and directly through my chest. His finger is brighter than the sun I've never seen. Words roll from the vox mouths around the shrine pole, wet with static. I mouth them without thinking. My badge numbers taste of rust. The heat vents exhale. The banners snap. The finger never moves. By third bell, the square drains into corridors. I follow the backs in front of me. Each one same coat, same patch, same bend of neck, the slogan still lodged like gristle between my teeth, counting the chimed steps to gate 12. Miran walks beside me. He always smells faintly of machine oil, even off shift, as if the plant chooses to keep him. We fall into the gate queue. He's holding our chits upright so the ceiling's red eyes can see. They blink in pairs like something breathing above the metal ribs. Louder, the loud hailers yell, though our mouths are already open to the morning responses. I pitch my voice to the middle range that doesn't draw attention. Never first, never last, never soft. The words pass me through like a stamped crate. I feel the stamp land, I make room for it on my tongue. Inside the packing hall, the floor hums through our boots. We break enough seals here to call it victory. The wall screens play the marching reels, lines of soldiers, smoke, a sunburst moving left to right, never right to left. Under every image, the same litany snaps like a cable. It matches the clack of the seal pre in my hand, so each crack fits the chorus. If my rhythm slips, I hear it immediately. It as if a clatter in the hall were mine alone and therefore punishable. Miran coughs. He has the cough that fits between the lines of the slogan, one bark on each drum beat so it sounds like approval. He taught himself that years ago. He tells me this without words, simply by doing it twice and glancing sideways like a man pointing his chin at safety. We pry and stack. Servo skulls drift the aisle, the light of their optics passing in white circles over the carton stamps, over our knuckles, over the wool threads loose across my cuff where I picked at them last night. When a skull pauses too long, everyone in the aisle finds something exemplary to do. I make prayer signs on the flaking paint of the pry and kiss my glove without moving my lip too much. The skull smells of cold metal and stale incense like coins on a tongue. At second bell, ere the announcers change. A woman with a smooth voice speaks of clean thought. The screens show a child beaming, eating a nutrient block so square it looks carved. The block is the same gray as our filtrate loaves, his smile is not. It fights the gray. Behind me, the foreman raises his head the way people look toward weather. His hand twitches for the click rod at his belt, then relaxes. He is rehearsing, not needing it. The hornet's nest of pipes above us rattles extra, either with heat or agreement. We break 10 more pallets. A strip banner unrolls from the ceiling on its little chain and gear track, the fabric thin as skin. It says in letters my stomach already knows, complacency is complicity. The chain tugs and the banner twitches as if trying to pull free. Sweat gathers in my ears. Miran's cough keeps time. My hands obey the pictures. At luncheon we stand. Sitting is for when the screens want us low and humble. Today they want our backs straight and our chests open to receive. Canteen steam smells of yeast and boiled greens. The benches have been pushed to the walls. There is a test today. We do not call it that aloud. The foreman says, cheer roll, but his mouth is too small for the words. A brass cherub descends from the girders, a box of speaker set into its belly. Its stone wings move in slow, useless scoops. It clicks a lens into place with a sound like a knife. The crowd presses forward to be seen being seen. I angle my chin the way the weekly sheet has taught us. Miran swallows, coughs, then presses his palm flat to his sternum, the pledge space everyone carries. The foreman's click rod is in his palm now. He casual like a cigarette, which I have seen only in history loops where they use them to demonstrate weakness. Witnesses, the cherub says. 1 in 10. A thin light washes over us. Numbers bloom in red over heads. They look like wounds. My number is 9. Mirren looks up, frowning, craning for his. 12. We are both not chosen and already ashamed to be relieved. The chosen 10 step forward, boots ringing the floor. The screens shift to the great man, the same one from the square, and the finger again points, not quite at any of us, but impossible to escape. Behind that finger, banners carve the air into obedient squares. The cherub drops lower until its shadow stains us. This is the lesson, it says. Call and answer. The first question, what makes you safe? The answer songwriter in the box shapes the words and the 10 repeat them. My obedience. And some say it full-voiced, some with their throats on a leash. One man chokes halfway, not with tears, but with the difficulty of producing the correct shape of fervor. A guard in a white coat, not military, only authorized, steps to him and places a hand on his shoulder, smiling a tutor's smile. The man straightens and says the line again, perfectly. The guard does not remove his hand. I try the line inside my mouth silently to keep its edges warm. I think of the morning finger. I think of my wife's back last night as she knelt in front of the bedside shrine and whispered her way through the family litany while I counted screws in the ceiling plate. I think of my daughter pressing the tip of a candle to her tongue to understand heat, then grinning as if she had swallowed fire and been spared. Name an enemy, the cherub asks. Even the 10 offer the answer aloud in perfect chorus, as if the enemy is a note they all can hit if only they breathe from the stomach. The screens change to shadowed shapes in trampled fields. The edges blur so the shapes can be anyone. The answer lands. I feel the air go hot, then cool, as if the word itself carried weather. The 5th prompt sticks. The line scrolls across the downstage banner. Doubt is a gate. Close it. One of the 10, a man from our loading bay named Harvin, his hands always bandaged, his jokes always good, does not speak. He opens his mouth and exhales. Nothing else. His eyes are damp or the light makes them so. He looks not at the banner, not at the finger, but at us. Mirren pulls his chin tight, willing Harvin to cooperate. The white coat steps in again, the tutor hand applying a thumb. Say it. In the cherub croons, Harvin rubs his wrist against his thigh like grinding sugar. Doubt is, he starts, his voice phrase. The guard's hand tightens. A gate, Harvin says. He coughs. Unlike Myron's trained cough, his is wet and private. Close it, the cherub prompts, kindly as a hymn. Harvin looks at me, not really me. He falls upon the center of the crowd, and something in me leans to make that center be me. He looks so I catch it, the attention like a small thrown stone. I know the last word, we all know it. The white coat tilts his head. Harvin is supposed to be guided. He is allowed to be weak this much, then correct. He is demonstrating a brink so that stepping off it can be heroic. Close it, Harvin repeats, but the line limps. It does not attach to the shout line behind it. He says it like a man speaking to a door that will not listen. The cherub's belly lamp focuses. Citizen 9, it says, and the red number over my head flares brilliant. I feel the heat of it, imagined or real. Support your comrade. The hall turns to me simultaneously, like flowers facing the sun in a nature reel. I feel my face lift into the shape the sheets printed for us. The finger on the main screen finds me without moving 1 centimeter. I stand forward on reflex, knuckles raw where the pry handle burned earlier. The air around the cherub smells like perfumed dust. Support means speak louder, correctly, with the fervor that can be borrowed. I know this. I set my feet the way the posters show, heels together, toes out like a triangle that cannot fall, and I take a breath. Doubt is a gate, I say. A cold slush flows over me at hearing my own voice broadcast back a tenth of a second late, bigger than my chest. "Close it," Harvin repeats after me, but again the line does not catch. The tutor smile drains from the white coat's face. Two more men step forward, batons at their thighs. The cherub waits, still smiling its carved infant smile as if it should be holding grapes. "Citizen 9, it purrs. Demonstrate." The guards take Harvin by the elbows. He does not fight. His bandages look suddenly like ornaments against bare skin. They turn him to face us. I do not know what demonstrate means now. I thought I had done it. I am committed here, in light, in the place where the reed flowers of our lives are bent by the finger that never moves. The baton enters my palm. It is slick. It hums like the floor. I do not remember a hand giving it to me, in only the weight arriving, as if I reached for something to balance and found this. The white coat nods. Harvin stares only at my forehead, as if there is written there the word he cannot say. I have dreamed of being visible. I have dreaded it more. "There is no exit either way, say it," the cherub asks him again. Harvin opens his mouth. No sound. The white coat inclines his head a degree. He has that look of pity cleanliness, the one he practiced in some mirror where his smile didn't need an object. I raise the baton and bring it down, once across Harvin's pledged space. The hum in the baton leaps to my teeth. He folds without crying out, only expels a wet breath. The sound of contact is one plane hitting another, sheet to sheet. I have heard it only with wood before this one is electric, living. A sting that climbs my arm like someone else's arm inside mine. "Doubt," Harvin says finally, "is a gate," I shout, louder than it is safe to be. The line in me is a rail. I know exactly how far to go and still pass. My end of the baton buzzes against my knee like an animal nuzzling, wanting more work. "Close it," Harvin says, more breath than voice. He swallows. Spit ropes from his lip to his chin and clings there as if it too is a citizen. "Close it. Witness," the cherub says, so delighted. The hall fills with sound. The crowd repeats, "Close it, close it." They clench their hands over their hearts, pressing down. The guards take Harvin away without drama. In the relief, we demonstrate further joy. The canned triumph jingle breaks on the overheads. I hand the baton back, and it leaves a line of heat in my palm like a small brand cooling. Myron touches my arm as we reclaim our positions. "Well done," he murmurs, and he means it, and he means also. "You are safe, for now." His face is carefully designed to hold admiration until we are past the screens. He does not look at the wet place on the floor where Harvin had been. The janitor arrives already, knee pads squeaking, rags singing through the spot. A hollow bird flits overhead, projecting the word example in flowers around the room, petals made of light that stop at the skin, each tiny stoppage a prickle. The shift after that is longer. Every rhythm seems to demand double obedience, as if the act added to my account something now owed to be paid. My pry tool slips twice. Once it crushes the nail on my ring finger, flat and black, I suck it and taste copper. Even when the announcement loop plays my own voice from the lunchtime feed, recorded layered with 7 others for thickness, I startle. I nearly drop a crate. No one laughs. Mirren nods to the beat. He does not catch my eye. By late bell, the victory reels intensify. They overlay the work counters and the accident tallies so yesterday's numbers ghost today's, stacking 2 transparencies into one command. The cherub's feed rewinds, the shot of me holding the baton cropped so you cannot see what I hit, only my face, my mouth open, the angle righteous. The word beneath, clarity. The caption moves like a ribbon through my neck. I work faster. We all do not talk about Harvin. We attend to small, perfect deeds, aligning the pallet corners, squaring the seals on the brake bins so they look like eyes politely closed. I think of my daughter's tongue again, It lit like a match, then cooled. My hand opens and closes. The baton's echo remains in the soft strip of my palm, a geometrical warmth. I press it to the pry handle, trying to print it there, to push it into wood. At final bell, the gate lights wash us in compliance green, and we trickle into the corridors again, better for the rinse. The square is a deeper, darker aquarium now, full of people moving at the steady pace that says lack of guilt. The big screen shows the great man from closer than the leisure of a stomach allows. His wrinkles are incised like commas, telling you when to pause in awe. Around him the laurels flicker, the finger points. It has not grown tired. At home sector, the stairwell smells of boiled starch and coal dust. Notices are pasted over older notices until the wall's flesh is thicker than its stone. And my wife opens our door before I reach it. She must have set a perch by the peephole. Her hands are parted in the shape of relief becoming prayer. Her cheeks have two fixed ribbons of color as if pinched. "You are in the feed," she says, even as she lifts her thumb to my bruised knuckle and presses as if demanding an answer from my bones. I nod as we step into the room. Our daughter is at the corner table arranging her school saints in formation. She looks up at me with far too much appetite. On the shelf, our little screen replays the lunchtime segment in a gentle loop, edited so it can play while people eat. There is my face again. The chin I never noticed, the way my teeth show. The baton is cropped out, the caption remains. Clarity. They will have seen at the block canteen, my wife says. In her tone is an instrument she can play in 3 registers at once. Pride, fear, and a correction for smiling too much. I supported a comrade, I say. It is the correct phrase. It fits between her ribs and mine. We stand in it together as if it were an entryway just constructed. My daughter watches my mouth make the words. She repeats them in a whisper and arranges the saints so one points with a tiny lead finger at the others. We eat. The screen diorama changes to a farm that is only ever a farm at sunset. Gold now instead of green. I feed the heat in my hand to the cup's handle and feel it leach away. Our daughter asks, as she has been instructed, what we learned today to make us stronger. I say, reliability. I do not look at the shelf where the housekeeping booklet sits, on its page marker tucked into the chapter on encouraging correct joy. There is knock time before the curfew, the hour when the inspectors might rat-tap their knuckles on doors to check shrine dust or pantry neatness or tone of laughter. We arrange our faces in the complacent readiness of inspection. The air vents click. The candles on the shrine are replaced with ones shorter by exactly a joint, to show we have used them. My wife smooths the cover on the bed so it does not confess to secret naps. She sets my work pry upright in the corner, weak polished like a relic. The baton's warmth in my palm helps me do this as if I believe it. Instead of inspectors, a visitor arrives by hum. A servo skull noses through the door on some exempt line of authority. Its lights go soft to domestic levels, its speaker is intimate. Its optic tilts to center on my daughter's collection of saints, registering, I think, commendation. It hovers at the height of a judge's bench. Citizen 9, it says. Something in me holds up a cloth to cover my heart. The rest continues to move. Affirmation request. The skull sings. Your image has been selected for localized instruction. Your neighbors will experience you tonight at evening devotions. Please coordinate with block warden for staging. My wife's smile becomes glass. It is a perfect rehearsed form layered over surprise, a shell poured over a shifting body. She slips into the hallway to find the warden as if she has been waiting for this task all her life. My daughter looks at me and then at the shrine and then back at me as if God has moved house and sits now where I am. The servo skull hovers in the doorframe, humming a patient wasp. We go to the block shrine room. I have walked this corridor for years. The posters here are better spoon-fed, gentler colors, sweet-faced angels, a sun behind the Emperor's eagle that never quite touches it. Tonight, the light is sharper, converted by the skulls to split us each into parts that can be counted: eyes, hands, knees, mouths. People file in by family, pressing themselves into the planes of the wall to pass one another without friction. The warden, who is a seamstress until she is this, places me near the front, beneath the main devotional screen, just where the finger can find me. The room smells of wax and stale linen. The block's oldest man sets the pace with his tremble voice. His daughter holds his elbow so he won't tip. The screens rise on their chains like lids. The reels begin, and they're the same as earlier but feel hungrier. My face appears after a minute or two, unexpected even though forewarned. The crowd murmurs the way they do for births and ration increases. I am in uniform tonight. My work coat counts. The camera has loved me. It has removed most of my crookedness and given me a jaw. The caption is larger. Clarity stands under my chin like a step up to a public stage. I hear my voice again leading the line about the gate. It shivers my back. The knees of the people nearest touch the benches. I look at the filmy. His mouth opens. The finger points. I feel the event I did increasing instead of past tense. Memory hardens into present wherever screens touch it. A child 3 places down fixes on me with pupils dilated. When the filmed me speaks, he looks at the real me to see if my lips move in time. And I cannot tell if I am matching myself or I am delayed. The words break on my tongue out of order. Close doubt gated as A. I adjust my mouth shape so no one can see what is happening. The devotion leader, an auntie with a grain sack apron still on, rings the hand chime for our responses. We answer the screens. When they show a field of helmets, I lower my head in time with others, but the yellow-hot place in my palm burns to keep it raised, to hold the baton horizontal and right. It is there as surely as the pry is in the corner at home. My hand is 2 hands now, and both are correct. Over by the candles, someone begins to sob. It is soft and fit between the lines. The sound passes as a breeze across tall grass. It looks beautiful from above. The servo skull drifts a meter, focusing on the region, and the sob hiccups shut. And the auntie smiles, the practiced smile that forgives and belongs to the screens. She turns the chime in a circle on her palm, letting the clapper tap little kisses until the water settles. Then my face returns large. The film freezes at the place where my teeth show and my eyes are most obedient. The caption shivers, then splits into 2. They scroll in opposite directions and rejoin. Clarity and mercy. The warden nods, her hand in the pocket where the small switch lash lives. She does not take it out. The reels want me to speak. I stand. 2 breathless rows of neighbors tip their chins up like receiving cups. The patterns we have practiced move into me. My daughter's candle burns so steadily her small hand might be a metal hand. My wife's thumb makes tiny circles on the back of my wrist, unseen by anyone but the skull right above us. I open my mouth. The recorded me begins the line a heartbeat ahead. I follow myself. Doubt is a gate, I say. A heat line crosses my palm again as if I hold it, close it. A murmur like the lifting of a heavy quilt passes over the room. Heads bow. Knuckles knock hearts. The chime answers with 2 bright notes and stops mid-echo. Swallowed. I sit. I expect to feel complete. That is the word the screens like. But the silence enters me like a draft through a crooked frame. After the devotions, our neighbors drift up to touch my sleeve, quick fingertips that do not quite land. The old man's daughter says, "You are good," and lowers her eyes to mean, "at being seen." The seamstress warden catalogs me with a tap on her slate and murmurs something into a shell micro about exemplary scheduling, and the servo skull follows us to our door. peeks in with consenting hum and departs as if dismissing air. Inside, the room is just the room again. The screen is off, the shrine half disassembled for dusting, my pry in its place. We listen for inspectors, none come. The pipes tick behind the walls like distant small clocks. Our daughter falls asleep on the unrolled mat with her saints arrayed above like theater cutouts. My wife binds my bruised knuckle with cloth torn from the hem of a shirt too long in the shoulders. Her fingers are very hot. I look at the small place where the baton's warmth refuses to cool. I press it to her palm as she wraps the cloth around, and she does not flinch. It smokes a little even against the air, or that is my imagination putting incense where none is. Her thumb makes one more circle, and she places my hand down on the table and leaves it. Curfew bell takes the hall. We fold the room into its night shapes. The prayer strip hangs loosely from the shrine nail. I do not tighten it. The screen by the door wakes of itself at last bell to play the night stories. I try not to look. The finger slides past my peripheral sight and returns anyway, right to the center in alms. I lie and I do not sleep. In the dark I see Harvin in the gap of the screens, the gap where no images exist, the place the power cables check to be sure they are alone. I feel nothing, then something, then shove both into the same cupboard and close the door on them. The cupboard leaks. Some hours or minutes later, the clocks make all measures the same. The servo skull returns. It does not enter. Its red light checks each door in turn, washing every lintel in a careful stripe. Down the corridor, people breathe beneath their blankets or hold their breath to hear, or pray in little clenched handfuls that cannot be counted. The skull's light strikes our door and pauses. The stripe paints my bruised knuckle pale through the bandage. The line across my palm glows where the cloth doesn't cover. The light clicks off. We lie in the tinny quiet that comes when the vents pause. In it, very gently, like someone speaking to a door that will not listen, my daughter says from her mat, "Close it." I do not answer. I watch the tiny ember of wax on the shrine candle's wick spend its last heat safe inside itself, then vanish without smoke, leaving only a curled crust of wick behind, black against the plate.